Hey everybody, I'm back with some more movie recommendations for the spooky Halloween season and perhaps some thoughts as well at the end. These my selections yesterday were so incredible, if I do say so myself. These might not be so like obscure, but I think they deserve to be on a list, and two of them are very obscure, I would say, or relatively very, if that makes any sense. Okay. First of all, I want to put at number five the movie Clown. It's on Netflix, and the first time I saw it, it wasn't on available on Netflix, and it like answered the question of why in the hell in the horror franchise is there a void of actually good um clown movies in any way, shape, or form. And you could say Terrifier, that franchise, which I respect them. I love how they are just like um it's like gore nostalgia, it's just like the creepiest costume, the goriest, like so over the top, it's almost like it's its own like entity entirely. I respect that, but honestly, Terrifier, as much as I respect, it's like, okay, I've watched it once. I don't really have a desire to watch it again. And I am, it's not my cup of tea that they have taken it to like this supernatural level. You have this like killer clown man. I mean, and he is terrifying. Why in the hell? I mean, how is anybody going to beat him if it has like kind of this Nightmare on Elm Street, like like hell undertone? I don't know. I just didn't really like that like supernatural element. I was like, that was just kind of unnecessary, and it kind of broke the spirit, I think, of the franchise. Just my opinion. And like I said, I'm really I get like gag reflex of fury thinking about the complete ball drop that is the It remake. It was terrifying. The original It, Tim Curry, it's like iconic and it's terrifying. Yet I remember being a kid watching that series, the miniseries of It, being terrified out of my mind. And then as a small child, like I was probably about 8 years old, 8 to 10, in the 90s, when it got to like the final showdown of the It series, even as a kid, I was like, God, this looks corny. It looked cheap. It looked like it was done on a set for like $10. The final showdown, like in the tunnel or whatever, and it looks like it was like beyond low budget even at the time as a kid. And I was like, wow, if they could like redo it, keep all of the just fear that went to my soul with the entire uh, first, middle, and towards the end of this huge epic franchise of a horror series that is It, and then actually not fumble it at the last second with this corny ass like showdown, it would be amazing. So had super high hopes. And the cat is out of the bag when it comes to high hopes and major motion pictures, like a recipe for disappointment. So anyway, when I finally saw Clown, I was just like, hallelujah, how finally a good horror movie with one of the naturally scariest things of all time, which is a damn clown. What person, real question, I know of someone in my childhood who liked Bozo the Clown. Was that his name, Bozo? That like weird, cheap, like clown from the 90s. I didn't like him, and I knew one person, like one child, I think it was like third grader, maybe second, who actually was like a Bozo fanatic. But I've never known anyone else on the planet who was like, oh man, even as a kid, I did like clowns. They were always so weird. It's weird. They weren't funny. They were always stupid. And it's just like bizarre that you have these grown adults. I don't know, maybe like for hire birthday parties. I don't want to knock like the clown subculture. More power to you. It just, I always thought they were freaky innately, and it made so much sense that they would be tied in with horror movies, because just like a man being masked in white paint with like a permanent smile trying to make people laugh, and you just know, like, oh man, he might have some issues behind all that pomp and circumstance of the clown costume. So clown is number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Suspiria 2018 is one of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. It's absolutely phenomenal. I don't understand why everyone doesn't love this movie. The 2018 Suspiria is brilliant. It is like The Shining, totally different, not at all in terms of a plot, but I'm just saying it is an epic horror movie. It's right up there with Hereditary in terms of the quality, the ambition, the success of pulling off such an ambitious, like, top tier horror is so rare. The Shining's been my favorite movie since the first time I watched it. Yeah, I don't know, I was probably like 11 or 12, and I just got it immediately. It's the only movie that I think far surpasses the book. I might do a rant on that one day. The Shining, the movie is better. Anyway, won't go on that rant, but Suspiria, I understand that, the original is a classic, but in my opinion, the remake beyond surpasses the original, just because I think the original was all like style, and that very specific style. And, that's cool. That's one thing. But, to take something so cool, so stylish, like this badass, kick ass coven of witches and a dance troupe that, like, secretly kind of rule the world behind the scenes. I mean, it's like, there's something so cool about witches anyway. And it's just so, like, empowering. It's like, yeah, I want to be part of that dance troupe. Too bad I can't dance, and I don't have any exact witchy ability. Maybe I do, but as of yet untapped witchy ability. So they actually didn't, unlike it, they did not fumble the ball with the assignment. They elevated it. And it's like, okay, we're not going to have like the same type of style. Instead of it being vibrant and bright and like this beautiful fever dream nightmare of a witch movie, we're going to have it be dark, but beyond cool. It's just like practically an all female cast. I love Tilda Swinton. I always feel like I'm mispronouncing her name. I really love her. I love her, everything about her, just her presence, her aura, and she is a phenomenal actress. I love her. I thought, what's her name? She's a Nepo baby, and usually I would be like, oh God, here we go again. But I mean, if you can do it and do it right, you can't pick who your parents were. None of us did. Maybe we did, but we don't know about it. So, God, Dakota Johnson, she did so good. It's like I just believed her performance from the get-go, and the way she discovered herself in this, and that final one of the final scenes of the movie, that like dance with death. I was just captivated and glued to the screen, and it was one of the most disturbing and beautiful things I have ever seen in cinema ever. It's just incredible. Okay, Clown, Suspiria. These are two like hidden gem P movies. They start with a P and they're like odd to pronounce. Okay, the first one is Pyewacket. It's like you know, it's a low budget movie in a way that it looks like it could have been like the scariest made for Lifetime TV movie ever made. And that's not a bad thing. You can just tell it's not like it was a Hollywood blockbuster. Once again, that's why it's on the list, because it's actually worth a damn. But Pyewacket, I'm going to write it down with all the other ones. But it's about this depressed teen who like summons a demon accidentally. Haven't we all been there? and chaos ensues, and it's a lot like Hell House LLC the other night. It is a low budget. It does have like a made for TV um feel to it in terms of casting and budget, but it is not at all hindered or limited by those confines. It's actually enhanced, because instead of trying to do some corny ass special effects or CGI or whatever, they use like shadow and just the angles of it. It's so smart, and I love how they use a lot of like shadows to be like, what am I looking at here? And a lot of things are implied. It is so great. It has that. I think her name was Lori from The Walking Dead. I haven't watched The Walking Dead in like a decade or something. um that the blonde, but she's the mom, and she's a good actress. Everyone does a great job, and it's like it just felt fresh. And even though it was kind of just a story that's not like, it didn't try to reinvent the wheel, it it really pulled it off. It wasn't like, oh god, why did they do that, what, go. You weren't like screaming in frustration at the characters. It was just a great like family drama nightmare, you know because of what this teenage daughter does, and kind of like in a time of crisis. Pontypool is, oh, so excited to talk about Pontypool. That was one of the ones, like Hell House LLC and Pyewacket for that matter, that I discovered. I was like, God, can I please just find a good movie, please, that I haven't like watched before, actually something new. And this is like, it's a zombie movie, and it is so smart. I think it's Canadian, or it was filmed in Canada or something, but Pontypool, it's like it does that awesome thing again where the vast majority of the movie is in one location, in this like radio studio or whatever. um and it's a zombie movie, but it's so smart the way it does it. Like it has like almost like a mental element or something. um it is so cool. And number one, this isn't like a hidden gem or a low budget movie. It's just a movie that I have been like quietly obsessing over for a while now. And I've watched it 3 times, and every time I get more engrossed in the story. And it like haunts me in a good way. I just can't stop thinking about the Blackcoat's daughter. It is the atmosphere that what's his name, Osgood Perkins, Anthony Perkins' son. He's the director of The Blackcoat's Daughter, and he also directed Longlegs, which I don't understand why that was like even a debate of how incredible that movie was. It blew my freaking mind away. I loved Longlegs. I didn't think it was um predictable, and I can go on a rant about Longlegs as well, but the Blackcoat's Daughter, it's like, oh my god, Osgood Perkins did both of those movies. It's like there's nothing wrong with being a nepo baby, like I said, or marrying up or whatever, coming into family money. You can't help that any more than you can help it if you're like born into like abject poverty. It's about what you do with it, and there are some people, on the run, especially in all forms of entertainment, that it's just like, they don't really deserve their position, and why they have it. And then there are some people like Dakota Johnson in Suspiria. She like nailed it and then some. Like Osgood Perkins, it's like he is an incredible director to capture this like beautiful foreboding doom and dread, and it's just eerie up and down and inside out, and I love it. And the reason I put it as my number one, it is my favorite. Well, I don't know, do I like it more than the Suspiria? It's really, that's a toss up for me. But I think that the Blackcoat's Daughter is the perfect analogy. I don't know if that's the right word, but, or maybe like a metaphor for addiction and being an addict that I have ever seen in a movie. And I do not think that was like the intention, but if you've ever wondered why people do a certain thing, why would you stay in a relationship with an abuser, where you're covered in bruises and you're making up these lies and your life is like monopolized. Why would you stay in a relationship with a substance that is killing you every time you ingest it? And yet it's like you're in such a cycle to where as soon as you have ingested this poison that you so love to wrap up and like hug yourself with, you're like, yes, please, thank you, may I have another? How can excuse me, how can we like love and be so attached to and yearn for and covet the things that kill us? And the Blackcoat's daughter answers that. When you feel like you have nothing, when you are lonely and when you are empty and when something is missing, you don't even have to seek it out. It will seek out you. You are walking around like this void, this shell with a heavy heart or an empty heart. And, these, everything that will kill you will be attracted to you because it knows that you are hollow, and it's like symbiotic or like a magnet or something, like opposites attract. Like everything good for you, you have to seek out yourself consciously through, or at the very least, through trying to fill yourself up with self acceptance, self love, and breaking it down as far as you have to in the moment, the power of now. You don't have to read the book, just read the title until you understand it. The power of now. Mine the power of this moment with your conscious thoughts to do whatever you have to do. Make it as big as you can, but make it as small as it has to be. And for me, that started when I was, 34, with breathing. Like I said the other day, I was as close to death as I've ever been. I was bleeding to death. Half the blood in my body I was sitting in it. I'd had my throat slit. I'd been stabbed in the back. My hand was almost severed. I have a lot of defensive wounds. My lip was cut in half. My ear was sliced in half. My hand was cut down to right there, like in a knife wound. It was bad. And everything I had culminated to like this summit of this moment. And the only thing I could do was breathe. And that might be the only thing we can all do at some point in time. And if that's all you can do, then that's more than some people. Every second of life is a gift, and when you breathe with intention, you are taking that first step to appreciating it, because you are taking that first step to consciously be aware of, hey, I am in control. I'm taking back power now, right the fuck now, um and the Blackcoat's daughter, it's where it ties into that is like, when you're vulnerable, when you're going through depression, when you're going through a loss, when you're going through just feeling like, for whatever reason, that you are just, watching through like this lens of life happening, and you see other people doing it, they're living, they're doing the things. And, yeah, like everybody has shit, and everybody's, no one's life is perfect. But when you have that hollow feeling inside of you, and you have yet to actually say, hey, through mind, body, and or soul, I am going to make the conscious decision and decisions to live consciously, in one way or another. Until you make that, it's just like, God, why are they, how to live, how to live, that's the question. And when you have that emptiness, you will find yourself filling that emptiness with everything that can kill you. And because you are so hollow, because you are empty, and here comes this one thing in, and it's like, man, one thing is better than nothing. With abuse, it was kind of like, bottom line, bad love was better than no love. And I didn't love myself. So it was like, no love, or this one person who will be with me in the trenches in this moment. And of course, that's not love. Of course, like, when you poison yourself to feel something, it's not like it's just, synthetic or fleeting or whatever. It's not even you that you're feeling. You're not feeling better. You're feeling this substance. Like that's the lie. It's not like the devil is a liar. It's like the devil is the lie. And then when you ingest the lie, that's when you become that devilish thing. And then when that is taken away, at first that can be very scary to even think about, because it's all you have, and it's like, yeah, it's synthetic or it's not ideal, or but it is something. And I know what it, God, that's why it's just like the ending of that movie is so haunting. That's another one. A great actress, Emma Roberts. She did a great job. I loved the way she cried in that movie. It just, I felt it, because I know that longing. I know what it's like to long and to want something so bad when you know it's not good for you, but it's the only thing. So isn't it everything, And it's just, it's such a haunting movie. It's the perfect summary of addiction and why people return to behaviors and drugs and situations. I think drugs, but really it's anything, that can kill you and will monopolize your life. It will end your life like 1,000 times until it takes your life for good. And the whole time, like, you'll be like, I love you more, 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 so I'll put the list down below. What was it? Clown, Suspiria, Pyewacket, Pontypool, and the Blackcoat's Daughter. I'll put the list down below, and y'all have a good night.